Hello, hello, dear friends. We will go in English with a little greeting in Spanish. Marta.
Hola, hola querida familia de Galactic School, bienvenidos. Hoy tenemos una invitada muy especial. La entrevista se va a desarrollar en inglés, pero como siempre las que hacemos aquí en Galactic School, que son en inglés, las traducimos luego en español para que haya esa disponibilidad también para el habla hispana. Bienvenidos. Quedan con Noé, con Cecilia y con nuestra invitada.
Gracias, gracias Marta, gracias Cecilia, Cari también te queremos. Y vamos a ver la bio we are going to see the bio of Viviane.
Right, Viviane Chauvet is the founder of the Arcturian University of Universal Consciousness. Viviane is a renowned Arcturian ambassador and evolved soul who leads global audiences through transformational activations that bridge galactic intelligence with human conscious experience.
And the subject for today, it's so interesting. The different galactic races that have interacted with the Earth, or the family we have over there. And it's so good to have some information from first hand with Viviane. So Viviane, welcome, and thank you to be in Galactic School and to be on Earth as well. And if you want to present yourself, so the Latin and Spanish public will know you a little bit. And we will need some sound. I think it's here.
It is a pleasure and an honor to be with all of you today. And so, muchas gracias for the invitation, for being here. It is really a joy, and to be with Gaia and everyone, all the whole souls, the star seeds, the ancient ones who have returned at this point. And I know it's going to talk a lot to your heart, and it's, who I am. And thank you for the beautiful, beautiful introduction. I represent a very ancient, enlightened intergalactic or interstellar civilizations known as the Arcturians. We are known to this quadrant, to this solar system, as one of the most ancient ones. In fact, we are millions of years old. And representing directly them is I am an Arcturian, and I have sent forth my Arcturian holographic consciousness into a engineered hybrid human form so I can be on the planet with all of us, and especially right now at this stage of very important galactic evolution and new cycle of evolution on the planet. We felt that it was necessary to send out one of our ambassadors directly as an emissary, but embodying the form of another species, which is rather rare for us to do this way. We usually retain ourselves in our own Arcturian self, and we just project our holographic light body consciousness when we interact with other species. But the fact that the Earth is returning from such a depth of descending and forgetfulness and duality and dark energies, that we felt it would be more effective for one of us to be in a very specialized vessel, a body, so I can retain my Arcturian identity and my capacity to hold and sustain such level of frequencies and light codes that comes through me. So I'm also a transmitter and an emitter, and all the information also that I share with only with the Arcturians, but also with the Galactic Federation of Light Alliances, that gives them first-hand data or information or understanding of what is the challenges that the human race has been facing for generations. Where is the current state? Where are we? What is the pushback? What is the influences? And so I transmit a lot of information. I have a lot of meetings directly with my Arcturian group, and of course with others very advanced enlightened species, and how we are looking at what is happening right now. So to you, I may look a lot human, and that was the goal. The goal was to create a vessel that allow me to first sustain the gravitational pull, the gravity of this planet in a third density, very dense synergy interactions in a linear time construct that is so illusionary, and being able to function and being able to adapt and understand, protocol, time, language, society, values, and all of this. But at the same time, that my vessel, my body, even on a DNA level, I am constructed in a way that I retain a much higher level of Arcturian original connection. And then the human aspect, it's my ground. Think of it as my anchor point to the planet. So this is why we chose to go it this way. Of course, there are many starseeds on the planet, and we are communicating with many, many other ancient souls coming from everywhere in the multiverse, those who are involved in bringing back the galactic awareness, helping, generations, lineages, people, life here, and Gaia herself as a planet to reascend. And we are returning into a higher state of original celestial state, rather than staying trapped into these wheel of incarnation and fragmentation and forgetfulness about who we are. Most of the population still are a bit on autopilot or are influenced by, government structures, old depleted structures that no longer is serving the highest and the greatest good. And so there's so much that we're here to do together. It's a collective effort. But I am directly a representative. So in a way, you can say that I'm an ET being. I simply have embodied this humanized form so I can say, hey, let's talk. We're here. We're here to make contact. This is the next level of organic contact. And then let's get you remembering who you are first without distortion. Let's get you back into your sovereignty. And then we can open the field of, sharing our knowledge, our technology, who we are, and to remembering for you who you are as well. And so it's been embedded in the story of my life, who I am. Even as a child, I've always known this is profoundly my being. So I'm looking through the eyes of this vessel, and I have grew fond to this face, this identity, and having hair and putting clothes on, and with women we put makeup, and so I know how to play the part. It's just that I know that it's not my original self. I'm just grateful to have this vessel and how it has helped me for many, many, many years on the planet to learn social interactions, working, being able to integrate into the structures, traveling around the world, understanding other cultures, different philosophies. Where are we? Where's the pulse of the conscious evolution? Where's the blockages? Where's the influence, right? What seems to pull you or steer you in opposition, like with technology and AI, such a distraction? And this is not where you need to be. This is about organic conscious evolution. And then we can talk about conscious assisted technology, not the one you've been pushed onto your children and for many generations hooked up on the phone. This is not the idea of a conscious assisted technology. So we're here to bring back the essential of remembering the true essence of humanity, number one. Number two, we're here for the planet. Gaia has been calling us, the ancient ones, and we'll talk about the different galactic races that have been influencing that evolution for a long, long time. But we're coming back together to say now there's a decree of light has been made, and it's been understood and agreed upon by many, many council, including the Great Council of the Great Central Sun, that this quadrant must be released from the dark energies and the descending into such a level of polarization and amnesia. Basically, you're like looking at people on not knowing who they are and thinking that what we're saying is science fiction, and we go, well, no, your life in science fiction to us this is very real, right? It's the other way around. I hope that makes sense. I hope that resonates.
That definitely. And it's, I would say, very well thought, amazing, and very brave and courageous from you and all your family. That's gigantic, gigantic. I would like to say hi to, oh, we have Vivian Uruguay. Hello. Ciro, we have Mallorca. A big hug for you too. And for you, Vivian, big hug from Mallorca. And then we have Munai. Munai is a word in it's a local language from the indigenous people, and it means love. Hermosas, gracias, super interesting. We have Uruguay as well, Silvia. We have Douceur Nature. This is French for you. Thank you for the meeting, Stefan.
Merci.
Ayada is from Lebanon. Salam alaikum, Haida. We love you. We have Caminante. We are all Caminante means we walk in the cosmos, I guess. And hi, Noemi. And please put your comments where you are. It's really a big family. It's one Earth, and as Vivian said, this Earth is reascending, and that's brings a lot of emotion. And I won't cry because I am life. Hi guys saying we love you too from Lebanon, and Maria from Medellin, Colombia. Un saludo. We love you to all.
An international audience.
And we want to go to the Galactic School, Galactic Races, actually. But before that, I wanted to mention a little thing. I asked my son, because he's a teacher of English teacher, if I have to talk to an ambassador, how can I greet the ambassador? Because I didn't know how to write to you the first email, Viviane. And I said, oh, I put greetings. Is it okay? He said, no, you can't put greetings. It's too easy. I didn't know about you, but that was so funny. No, don't put greetings. Oh, that was so funny. But anyway, we go to different galactic races. Why first is so important to know your family and what happened, how we were together on Earth for such a long time, what happened. It's all up to you, dear Vivian.
Well, saludo everyone. Merci beaucoup. Thank you so much. Muchas gracias. Again, everyone tuning in from all over the world. It's a joy and a privilege to be with you. So talking about really quickly about how to salute, each other first as emissaries of light that you are. And of course, yes, an ambassador. This is how I've come to do. So you have to look in the into the intergalactic perspective when we enter different council or meeting or gathering, let's say with other species or other representative from other intergalactic groups with the galactic federations or any other council. There's no verbal greetings. It's more of, how we salute each other in a sense that there's a soul essence recognition. There's implied respect and recognition is implied of how we are with each other. But from this 3D reality, when you say greetings, I can feel the synergy and the intention of your heart. I can feel the energy of your higher being. And from a human perspective, I can feel the positive energy and the gratitude, the respect, and the authenticity that you put in. Because even though you put greetings and you write something, it's the imprint of the energy of your email that I will feel first, and then I read your words. So when somebody comes to me and it's the opposite, they're like lacking of ethics, or they don't not in alignment, or they have all caps, that energy will push me away because I don't even have to read the message to feel what is the intention. But when you first contacted me, I can feel all of you and the energy behind it. So I knew right away it was a big yes that I was going to come and connect. We knew right away. So just so you know, there was an understanding of each other. So I just want to address that, because this is really good. This is really good. So what is happening really, if you look at the Mayan calendar, just for a moment, and it's the Mayan calendar, especially in December 21st, 2012, it's been a huge pivotal time ever since that moment. Why? There's many reasons for that. One of the most understood and recognize reasons. We know that the Earth and the movement in the solar system has come to a completion of very ancient planetary cycle. To us, we called it that the Earth has shifted out of a distorted timing frequency. So this is all about planetary cycle of how each planet in the solar system has been put in place, so to speak, to sustain and support the direction of the Earth. Because planet has consciousness, and when you start to communicate to a planet, whether it's Venus, Saturn, Jupiter, you're no longer looking at the 3D version of what you understand of a planet with, gases and iron and different mineral and rocks and substance. You're looking at a consciousness of a being that has taken on a form of a planet. So communicating with our consciousness, one of the things that you will learn right away from the solar system beings who are here, the planets, is that they're very, very aware of what's happening and what has been happening throughout the history of the Earth, because it resonates and affects them as well. So what's happening on the planet is reflecting the solar system, just to keep it even short, close to home, right there. And so when the Mayan calendars has been foretold, it came to full completion. It's something that also with the Hopi, this indigenous tribe for the Southwest here in the United States, they have what's called the prophecy stone. And the prophecy stone of the Hopi was mentioning something similar of the Mayan calendar. So two very distinct civilizations, you would say, two tribes who have evolved to different timeline, but they have predicted something very similar. So that end of their calendar, or to the Hopi prophecy stone, because I've seen the stone, I was there in person on their reservation, and you can tell for them, they talk about a breakage in the line, the timeline. So there's a line, and you can tell there's a split like this at the end of the line. And according to Hopi and their prophecy through generation of tradition of the elders, they said that those who are cut off from the Creator will fall back into that conjunction of the timeline, and those who are embracing, and I'm just paraphrasing here, those who are embracing the more universal heart unification pathway will simply move into the higher timeline. So this is written there and it's sitting there in the sacred place in their reservation. The point we're making about the races is that it explains also why so many more enlightened intergalactic races have started to send out their emissaries in the form of star seed. And we know, just for semantics or foundation, the word star seed means that it is recognized as a soul emanation or a soul fractal of beings that represent many, many intergalactic races or civilizations, as we like to call them, many nations throughout the multiverse, and they send forth their emissaries in the form of a fragment or a fractal, and that fractal, a soul energy, reincarnate in a human form and bring in on the soul akashic level all the encoding of their information of who they represent, the blueprint of what they've come, why they returned to the planet, but they also have a resonance field, or what we call a core frequency. And that core frequency carry the original frequencies of that species or that ET race that they represent. So we have many of them, and we'll talk about that as well. So this is part of the reason why so many have returned throughout the last many generations. And I will say, especially, I would say, even during World War II, there was a lot of starseed who returned, but they got really damaged because of the intensity. And then the 50s, 60s, and all the way to, the Generation X, the crystal children, the indigo children, all the way to the generation today. So if you look at the pioneers before that, who have come to really just attempt to stabilize the energy on the planet, and then they left, and then the next one came through, and they left, and the next one. So because of that prophecy, both on the Hopi and the Mayan, just to quote two very ancient prophecies, it means that Gaia has finally to shift out of a very old dimensional and planetary cycle. So that means that today, where we are in the timeline, we are in a conjunction. So those who are like yourselves, obviously, you're embracing more and more what we call the higher organic timeline. And what this is going to is to return into remembering our galactic origin, stepping into a more higher conscious galactic human beings, and eventually you are reascending, which means you are reclaiming the complete sovereignty of who you really are, who you represent. You're returning in oneness with this galactic large communities. You start to understand the place of human beings within that community, within the multiverses, and you're going to start to, human being will be allowed, so to speak, naturally to organically, not from forced technology, but organically return to reclaim their celestial human self. That means your DNA, the original celestial DNA template, all your faculties, your memories, and returning into that unity consciousness. So if you look a little bit bigger and toward the interaction of so many ET races, and I'll name a few, is that we see the seeds of the potential you carry in you, because human beings, and I've said that before and I will say it again, human beings are considered to us as galactic royalties, because just the genetic markers and the genetic conscious memories that your DNA template contain is a much more infinite library of galactic history, information, understanding the process for thousands of years, rather than any books you have available on the planet. It's there, but it has been concealed and disconnected. So this is part of more of the self-serving, negative, polarized aspect of some of the ET race who have returned, who have been on the planet for thousands of years. When the Anunnaki came, or a fraction of the reptilian, the draconians, and other transdimensional beings, aspects of the grace, not all of them. It's not all the species, it's just a fraction of these species who have descended into an evolution that is more self-serving. And we see that how these 3D structures have been built over time, like money. Anything that you talk about from a galactic perspective, when you see a planet or a species that is running on a currency exchange structures, we call it a prison structure. It is a slave structure. So this structure was put in place a long, long time ago. And I said that with compassion and love, just to recognize it for what it is, with empowerment, with universal compassion, with benevolence and empowerment. And recognizing that this is part of the influence of that history, you have the authority today to reverse the negative connotation of these structures and make peace with it. The more you're at peace with, let's say, financial abundance, financial bliss, or abundance in your resources, waters, family dynamic, returning to living in a blissful way, you are counteracting and disengaging from the negative aspect of your galactic history. And it's okay to recognize it, because it's also part of the DNA encoded. These markers in time will be turned off. But that needs your consciousness to match that. Your consciousness needs to continue to rise. This is the most important part right now. You need to continue to grow and expand in consciousness and living in cultivation, in oneness, in harmony with yourself, in self-love, self-worth, self-trust. You need to understand, start to learn and invest in understanding who you really are. And this is what we're here for. We're here to supporting this. Because if the human race start to really reclaim our power, and there's a breakthrough in the consciousness combined with the emotional intelligence, well, you have reascended. It is a done deal in a sense that the counterpart of the negative galactic origin can be finally released. Now, the counterpart of the positive energy is, of course, the presence of the Arcturians. We are guardians. We are great teachers. We think of us as the master Zen who come and teach us the way of, the pathway of remembrance within yourself. And then in time, we're going to expand our teachings, the living knowledge that we bring for thousands and thousands and thousands of years of evolution, understanding, interactions, cultivations, all of it. We can bring that, but we have to match the pace of your conscious evolution. So we will give you just enough what needs to allow that natural, organic conscious evolution. Same thing with the Andromedans. There's many different Andromedans who are on the planet. Andromedans are brilliant in creating new structures. They create structure through the light language, and I've seen the Andromedan light language myself. Andromedan are master at creating higher frequency or higher dimensional structures. So what they do is that they work also with the earth to help to extract the old depleted morphogenetic field or the old blueprint and all these structures, whether it's currency, whether it's the way you've been living your life. And what they do that the Andromedan are implementing new structures that are going to be integrated into the earth, the new grid earths. And these grids is designed to also upgrade your own internal grids. And it's going to help to accelerate naturally the understanding, the decoding of the ancient language behind those grids, the language of Gaia, the language of your soul, the language of how the quantum aspect of your DNA is resonating to that. So Andromedans are also very, very involved. And of course, we are all friends, Arcturians and Andromedans. We have cultivating, so to speak, a friendship and a collaboration for millions of years. In fact, Arcturians, our very first council that we became a part of outside of our system were within the Andromedan system. We were with them. They're the ones who approach us. So they have a very deep, loving presence for us, the Andromedans. So anytime I meet an Andromedan starseed or someone who is really much vibrating in that frequency, there's a natural resonance. We also love and interact a lot with the Sirians. Now, there's many different types of Sirians. There are the feline Sirians who are very, very involved with the earth and helping also the animal kingdom to evolve. It's not just about human beings, it's about honoring reverence for all life, honoring animals that you coexist with, honoring the planet, honoring the elementals, honoring the sacred waters and the aquatic beings, the mineral kingdom. So we hear the Sirians are really hands-on to help to accelerate the physical aspect. They're more than that, but Sirians overall are master at physical healing. So they're helping the physical body of Gaia to shape and re-evolve and release or shed an aspect that has been depleted from the third density field or within the frontal matrix. So Sirians are really wonderful. You can call upon them to help with your cats, your dogs, yourself. They understand the physical template very, very well. They are loyal friends. When you have a Sirian friend, you most likely have a friend for life. They are very loyal and we honor them. So you have the feline nation, those who look like dogs, but they're humanoid dog nation. They also the aquatic Sirians, and there's others, different type of Sirian, I mean. So the realm Sirius, it vibrate at different higher dimensional state. There's different planets. There's also a higher different form of dimension. And some of these higher dimension is the home, so to speak, for even higher dimensional beings. Some of them are part of your legends here on the planet. They're fantasy or children stories or fantastic movies like the unicorn and these majestic white horses that we see in movies and stories. Well, they do exist. This is where the story comes from. If a story is told to you on this planet, it's a movie, it's a book, a storytelling or something, it's because it has been introduced as a thought form in the collective consciousness. Otherwise, how would you know? So these beings exist and they coexist within the Sirius realm, simply at a higher dimensional level. And you have to really return to the purity of your heart, the purity of your soul, the authenticity of who you are to really connect with these beings. But it is possible, they're there. And so Sirians are part of what's called the founder races. They are really, some of them have really contributed to the accelerate evolution of the DNA or the original human or humanoid DNA. And they are very been part of the Earth evolution for a very, very long time. Now, if we talk about Sirians, we have to talk about those who come from the Lyra constellation. And there's a double connotation with Lyra. You have those who are known as the Lyrans or Lyrans, depending on the pronunciation. But you also have to talk about the Lyran Vegan. So those who come from the Vega star. So the Lyra Vegan and the Lyrans, well, they're part of the same roots or the same ancestry, but they have evolved into different consciousness. So from those of Vega, the Vegans, as they are known, they're usually beautiful, more bluish being, and some of them also look like feline humanoid being. It means that they may have feline traits, but they are, on two legs like a human, and they have a torso and so like a humanoid form. They have this beautiful bluish skin. Not every species is blue, but some of them are, and the Vegans are part of them. Lyrans are dear to my heart, dear to my heart. I've always had Lyrans guides around me during my Earth mission that's still unfolding, whether in form of cats at home or cats that comes to me or just fall into my lap and says, okay, you're going to take care of me because I'm one of your guide. Whether it's I saw with my own eyes Lyrans coming to me, walking with me and telling me that as Arcturians, we're going to be there to supporting you. Lyrans are very, very ancient. They are absolutely phenomenal beings. Yes, traditionally, they will be depicted as these majestic feline or even lions being. And I've seen them. In fact, one of my cats, one of my very, very first cat, spent time with me, stay with me for almost 14 years. And then he told me telepathically, he says, my mission is done. I will return now to my collective. And of course, I was heartbroken. I loved him so much. I still do. And he said, wait. So I watched him leaving his cat form. And he was such a majestic cat with piercing eyes. And he left his cat form and he showed me who he was. And he is this majestic, huge lion humanoid being of great beauty, might, strength, and the light presence coming from him. He's still there. I'm still communicate with him. And he chose to be a guardian for a portion of my journey, a very important part of my journey. And he was there. And then he returned to his Lyran self. So the Lyrans are also part of the founder races. They are very much the guardians. In fact, they are the guardians of the library for the original humanoid DNA template, upon which that template was the foundation for the human race. And the Lyrans have been very much hands-on to protect the template and preserve it and make sure that it continued to evolve without the distortion of the Draconians or others who really gladly want to distort the template even more than it has been over generations. So the Lyrans, the Vegans are very involved. The Venusian also very involved with Gaia. Venusian has a different aspect of their purpose, their mission. They emanate this higher fifth dimensional heart energy. And if you look at Venus, not a 3D version to your telescope, but the fifth dimensional aspect of Venus, there are many species who have come from Venus to help us here and to preserve also the natural living ecosystem of the Earth, like the bee nation. The bees come from Venus, they're not originally from the Earth. So the bee nations are here to preserve and maintain the balance of the ecosystem, just like the whale and dolphins, they're the ambassador, the guardians of the water system of the planet. So the Venusian are very loving being, very gentle, very benevolent, and they look exactly like you. They're just going to appear very beautiful to you. They will be part of the ideal standard of beauty that sometimes human beings hold. And I'm like, oh, not Arcturian. We're not going to win any beauty contest anytime soon. We're not looking like you. We're just humanoid looking, but we're very ET looking. So imagining mixing up with human, they did their best, I think it works, but Venusian on the other hand, oh, that will be appealing for sure. My Arcturian father always says I have to sparkle some humor because he works human beings like humor. So here I am, I sparkle some humor. Well, Venusian are beautiful beings. I have met some Venusian, not as many, but I have met a few. And they're very also connected to the heart of the planet, the heart of humanity. And they're very here to help you to remember some very fundamental galactic concept, whether it's, advanced, more compassionate science or more compassionate way to heal yourself or heal the planet. And remembering some of the foundation of how the universal structure works. But most importantly, and that's true for all of us, it is important to return to living in harmony with the universal laws, especially the universal law of one. That is a reminder that no matter spectrum of polarity you're holding, and no matter what frequency or core frequency you're representing, we're all within the oneness of the creation. And this is something that is, how could I say, a universal protocol that is recognized by all of us in the galactic. So, for example, when we meet our delegates or other emissaries from other species, and some of them you have no knowledge or no remembrance of. There's so many nations, so many. And in time, you will rediscovering some of these other nations. And those look like frogs, other looks like amphibian beings, other looks like, bird, humanoid looking, others are just blob, or others are just, they are almost so ethereal or non-corporeal. All they do is they project like an essence, it looks like an orb of light. Others are, well, there's different species, and it's very, very complex. So ultimately, when we're returning under the banner of the universal law of one, we start to feel that it's healing the gap between all of these species or these ET races and yourself. And you start to heal the gap within your own evolving consciousness and your DNA. The DNA is going to be very important. You're going to be, because it's going to help you to transcend beyond that linear projection of time. You're going to release that identity as a linear being, which we're never designed for. And you're going to start to reclaim that multidimensionality and understanding that the architecture of your light DNA aspect is connected like fiber optics, so to speak. To give you a visual, it looks like fiber optics that connects you to a multitude of dimensions. And that's why you start to stepping into more galactic awareness, multidimensional awareness, consciousness. And this is how you can transform your reality, whether you're in Colombia, Barcelona, whether you are in Bolivia, Mexico, whether you are in Brazil, US, Arizona, New Zealand, wherever you are on the planet, you start to understand that you have the ability to unify this paradigm. Instead of having thousands of sub-reality overlapping with each other, you're going to start to re-harmonize the paradigm of living. and bring these connector points within yourself, which is going to reflect into even your body energy system, how your physical form going to release itself from the third base, carbon-based aspect. You're going to start to feel you returning to be a more higher light being, a vibrational being, a crystalline being, and you're ultimately returning to your diamond sun physical form. And this is where we see the natural evolution of human beings. And the ET races we just mentioned are just a few of them. And of course, we have to talk about the Pleiadians. They are a cornerstone to human evolution. The Pleiadians, well, there's many groups of them. If you look at just a fragment of their history within the Pleiades star clusters, Pleiadians have experiment what's called the counterpart of the negative polarity of evolution. So in their history, Pleiadians have gone very, very far into maintaining themselves into a positive spectrum. So much that it came to the point where they start to realize that there was something missing to their evolution. It was something that either they forgot or was repressed or suppressed or released over time. And I'll come back to that because this is important. So what they done is that they have sent some of their people or representative of the Pleiadian star nations on the Earth, the early stages of the evolution of the Earth, and they wanted to bring their outposts, create, let's call it a colony or an outpost on the planet. But Pleiadians were never designed genetically and vibrationally to evolve on a very dense planet. So the Earth was very, how could I say that? What is the best word, Father, I can use? Okay. Non-sustainable for them. That's the word I'm getting. So what it means is that they have decided instead to make a huge genetic contribution, and they have accelerated and bring in a lot of Pleiadian genetic codes within the original celestial human template and the DNA template. And so the Pleiadians play a huge role and how they have impacted human history, Earth evolution, cycles, consciousness, DNA, genetic, all of it. Pleiadians, in the family sense, they're like your first cousins in your family. Let's say on your father and mother lineage, they're your first cousins. They're like the direct bloodline cousins. But Pleiadians is what they are to human beings. So there's a lot of Pleiadians influence in history and structures in your DNA. Huge portion of they are part of the founder races for the DNA human template, along with the Lyrians and others and other races that we call the founders. They are very ancient beings. So those, just in a nutshell, are very influential ET consciousness, intergalactic knowledge, intergalactic presence, omnipresence, intergalactic roots. So Pleiadians look exactly like human being, but they will be the one of, yes, Father says, time for a bit of humor, okay. They will be the one to win all the beauty contests of the world, like number one top. Like you would go like, ooh, we love the Pleiadians. That's because Pleiadians are a placeholder to remind human beings of that direct potential, that direct sense of evolution. So remember, Arcturians were like, we're the guardians. We're like the abuelas and abuelo of your family. We're like the grandparents, right? We really are. But it's just an analogy, you know. It's never to take literally. It's an image. It's a figure of speech. So Pleiadians are your direct ancestors, and so that's why they're really much part of, you know, want to influence government of the world, structures, star seed. How many Pleiadian star seeds there are on the planet? Many, many Sirians, a lot of them. And they come here to repair, help you to repair the galactic mistake has been made in their history, whether it's in their evolution, how they are without knowing, they have interfered in a way to the natural evolution of the human race originally, but with good intention. And they come here to rebalance that in a positive, loving, benevolent way. So this is what is so involved with the Earth and human history and evolution, and even energically. It's almost like it's very personal to them. And I know because when I return in my Arcturian form, or my original self, I have clear memory, clear as I see you right now, of being on board, a Pleiadians advanced mothership, and we were meeting. A group of us of the Arcturian delegation was meeting with a group of delegates representing the High Council of the Pleiadians, and we were discussing the Earth evolution. Where are we? And some of the delegates I saw on board that vessel, some of them are in incarnation on the right here in this earth, and we know each other. Some of them were like, "Oh, I saw you. Yeah, we have a meeting recently," and they say, "Yeah, I remember." And so there's a lot of interaction that way. Many won't remember because it's not their time to remember. It may interfere in what they come to learn, experiment, develop, remembering. So it's never about interference. It's about supporting naturally and organically the evolutionary process. And there's many, many of us. And I would say, and that's good news, that since the beginning of 2025, which you're almost at the end of, going into the next 3 years from a calendar perspective, there are many, many more enlightened ancient Inti races who are returning to the solar system because they know, they have seen, and they have foreseen that Earth consciousness and the human consciousness is going to that point where that point of reconnection become much more available. And it's nothing to do about the ship landing on the lawn of your home, or coming face to face, knocking at your door. Here, let me shake my hand. We're here physically. You have to think about what contact really means. You have to step out of your human identity, emotional self, mental self, perception, expectation, and you have to return to thinking as a galactic being. What will be the protocol of connections? And so I hope that I have been able to cover some of the facets of the questions, beautiful questions, and just to illustrate a little bit of a bigger picture of what has been unfolding. Where are we right now? The implication of these ET rays. So I'm getting a transmission right now that's something that said that I have omitted, that I must bring. Okay, I see it. Thank you. I want to go back to the Lyrians for a moment. This is very important. So the Lyrians are part of founder races. We know that. They're big teachers. They are the one who have implemented what's called the galactic integration process or protocols. And we call that the interstellar triangle. So any races, whether it's human, Orions, whether it's the Pleiadians, whether it's multitude of Sirians, mer people, whether it's a group like Antares, who vibrate at 7th dimension and above, Andromedans, Venusians, wherever they come from, there's one principle that is recognized in the galactic communities. It's the Lyran principle of integration, which says that any species will choose a polarity for evolution, whether it's a negative polarity, and then they reintegrate into positive polarity, ultimately to come back into a point of 0 point of pure integration. That principle is only a guideline to understand evolution of any planets, any star system, with any ET races. That includes Earth humans. So what it means is that at some point, every soul understands from the principle of discovering the self-identity, understanding what it feels like to have either a physical form and addressing your needs and exploring yourself, what's called a self-identity. There's nothing negative about it. It's just within the negative polarity. That's all. And so when you explore more the self, the little me needs something. What can you do for me, right? It's called self-serving. It is designed to teach, to learn from. Now, the opposite in the positive polarity is called the higher self. It is serving to others, service to the light, not servitude, but service. That's different here. So, service to others, it's more on a what can I contribute that will still sustain myself, but within the greatest good of the collective. Okay, that is the positive polarity. And then the integration point is understanding both aspects of the light with the dark light returning into unification. And the Lyrians have been teaching that for a very long time. Now, throughout galactic history, some of the species got stuck in the negative polarity, others got too deep into the opposite. And in both sense, they are reflecting imbalances. So in a way, they need each other to rebalance themselves to a point of reintegration. So how does it apply to your life? Is if you have challenges, trigger points, sensitivity, old wounds, patterns, learn from them instead of pushing them around or want to get rid of. There's nothing to get rid of. It's more in terms of how you're rising in your consciousness with your heart wisdom, your benevolence. Be patient with you, implying this universal principle. Learn from your genetic lineage or your upbringing or your cultural background. What does your soul have come to learn from this? This has always been the goal. It is part of the foundation of any ET races, any civilizations around the world, or even around the multiverses. Learn from this and help you to break through, to return into understanding the higher part of you and the service to the light, service to the prime creator, service to the global consciousness on the unification, and returning to that integration part. Like we're looking here in the 3D phantom matrix, this opposition of dark and light, good and bad, all these opposition. Well, if you listen to the Lyran principle, it's designed to come back into a point of reintegration. And this is part of what we see in the timeline shifting. And there's going to be much more revealed to you, much more. But for now, what we are sharing, there's a lot of multitude of frequencies. We are sharing a lot of energy. We're in communication, contact with you, more than just the information that is conveyed. It's also our exchange. We are very fully present, and it speaks to your being, reactivating you on a multi-dimensional state of awareness, not just your mind or your humanness or your heart. It's your entire being. I don't know if you felt that during this exchange.
Wow. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
It's beautiful.
Let's take a deep breath now. Breathe. Integrate. Remember, you will only retain what serves you the best. Everything else will be available in your field when you are ready. Everything you're integrating as you come along and trusting yourself. Ask, I'm integrating with divine ease, divine grace. I trust the entirety of my I am presence. I trust the entirety of my I am presence.
I will invite everybody and myself to receive this download. It's not only words. No. Please take some water or do something, but receive.
There you go. I'll share with you.
Receive for oneself and for everybody. What you do for yourself, for everybody. We need a little break, I think. Maybe the break can be the map. Meanwhile, we absorb at all levels. This precious information. Thank you to you, to your family. When you say Father, I can feel, oh, you are not alone.
Yeah. Yes,
Beauty.
right.
So if you want, we can do the little map. It's we have so much, but at least you can take a screenshot or take a picture with your cellular. First, the number 4, Butes. This is Actuarians. This is Viviane's home, and it is Northern Hemisphere. So us in the South America, we don't see you because you're on the other side of the planet. And the number 1 is Lyra and Vega. 14 would be the North Pole, I mean the Northern Star, I would say, or Polar Star, which is as well like big, uh, big council, I guess. 15 and 7 over there, we have Cassiopeia, and now and then we have Andromeda. You mentioned Andromeda so much, like our grandfathers and mothers. And
Mm-hmm.
we have the constellation at 7, and we have the galaxy behind, which is Andromeda galaxy, I would say. And that's for the northern part. And then down there, we have, you mentioned Sirius. That would be the 2 or the 3. You mentioned Pleiades, the 2. You mentioned Venus, but Venus is not a constellation, so it's a planet, it's close to us. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
we do have children from Venus, person. I have close colleagues from Venus, and boy, they love so much everybody. It's beautiful. And
Mm-hmm.
a couple of more. I want to say hi to the Orion family because they went through so much. And this
Yes,
number,
Orion. And
Orion,
yeah.
number
And
5.
number 12, 2, Tau Ceti. They're beautiful guardians.
And many. Tau Ceti, Antares, you mentioned them,
Mm-hmm.
and Alpha Centauri. I
Mm-hmm.
heard they look like us too, so they can come to the competition of beauty.
Yes, they are really beautiful.
No
Yeah,
competition.
yeah. My husband is part at the soul is in soul ancestry heritage. He has a galactic connection to Alpha Centauri, and I have met very few who come from Tau Ceti. That was part of your map. I think it was number 12, the point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
on the right.
right. Tau Ceti, the beings from there, they're very involved. They're very benevolent, but they're more neutral in the sense that they are observers. They are looking, they understand what's happening. They understand the behavior of other beings or other ET races. And Tau Ceti and those who come from there, they have more of a non-interference protocol approach. However, if they are, because they are very negative beings or more marauders or those who come and consume resources from planet will come to interfere in an evolution. If that any of those other races would enter the solar system to come to interfere at this point of time with the Earth, we can count of our brothers and sisters from Tau Ceti to bring and come and help us and send out their armada and going, no, we're not going to tolerate that. So again, they're more observant and more neutral, but they're great allies. They're really old friends. They're very intelligent. They're peaceful being. And don't step on their toes, if you know what I mean. It's like, they're really, they will respond to what it needs. It's just right now they are observing and they're supporting on a different level, but we can count on them if we need says aid. We see this intrusion coming or want to enter the solar system or the Earth quadrant, or they're going to enter the Milky Way, or they're going to come and wants to interfere with the Earth timelines. They will come and says, we're going to help alongside with us, the Arcturians, with the Andromedans, the Sirians. We're going to come and we clear that out of the way. We take care of that. We clear the house, so to speak. We passa la scupa, comme on dirait, like we say in Italian. We clear that out of the way. But they're beautiful beings. I have great respect for them as well. And of course, Orion, it's a complex realm. It's a realm in itself. It's a realm of great soul lessons. There's a lot of history within the galactic archives around Orion invasions, the Great Wars with AI, with other beings. They're more like cyborg, or those who have fallen too far in the negative polarity and they have forgotten their point of origin. And this is where they become out of balance. But what they do is they create, discord, chaos, distortion. And there's also the very beautiful, advanced, conscious Orions with a council, intelligent, very benevolent. They have compassion for what has been done and how the earth has been affected and hurt human and all life, all life. Remember, it's a return of reverence for all life. Even a bird, a fish, a cat, a dog wandering on your street, it's all part of the living ecosystem of this planet, and they're part of you. So that's part of healing the gap in the heart of human beings. It is time that you rise into your light, that you rise into understanding who you are without a distortion of what you've been programmed to believe about yourself. And this is why there's so much help. There's a lot of assistance on planet, off planet, whether it's spiritually, and during meditation, during your prayers. Everything is heard and received. We feel your heart. We can read your thought feelings. We can receive and see the emanation in your auric living field. We can see the energy of emanating from Gaia. We can feel all this energy coming in. We understand now. So just walk in the certainty of who you are. Return to your light. Return to claiming your light, your sovereignty, and being able to discover every day. Are you investing more of your time, your light, your education, your meditation, your verb communications, your intentions to understanding what is really much the treasure chest, all the knowledge encoded in you and as you? And remember, you are perceived by us as an equal, rising conscious civilizations returning to reclaim their wonderful space, their place with you, with us. And it's time to really returning to living in benevolence and always for the greatest and the highest good of all. So take care as conscious guardians of this planet and all the life forms and sentient life forms that comes your way. And I include yourself. So be gentle, be patient, and of course, be strong, courageous in your heart, understanding with discernment and clarity. And we're going to continue to be with you. We are here. I am here until I complete my mission. And once it's done, then I will return fully. I will retract myself and leave the planet and return to my galactic self. But not before the mission is complete. And so...
No, don't go now.
No, we're not.
Please.
No worries. We're with you, but we need you too. So let's do it together, okay? Let's
Yes, sure.
combine. Yes.
Okay, yeah, you're more than welcome in Galactic School whenever you want to share something. Of course, I know we just touched the tip of the iceberg today. That was just this was amazing. A huge battle went down.
Thank you.
People are asking for your contact. Please take note. Cecilia, do you want to help with contact?
Sure.
Please?
www.arcturianuniversity.com and www.infinitehealingfromthestars.com.
Yeah, from the stars with an S. So you find easily the website. Of course, many stars, many races, many brothers and sisters, families, uncles, cousins. And what about the email?
support@infinitehealingfromthestars.com.
So please take the two. I remind you, Viviane has a bunch of free video on YouTube. I spent nights and nights and nights trying to recover from so much information and frequency and downloads. And you have a beautiful movie. It's available. You have membership. You have everything, basically. Like you can have Earth, and that's beautiful the way you use all the. Actually, it's useful. We have this technology so far, so good. And we have a couple of comments. Oh yes, we have two more things before we close. Are you okay with the time, dear Viviane?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Here we used to say Viviana. You are now baptized.
Thank you. I love that. It's very elegant.
Welcome to the Latin family.
Different frequencies.
Oh, muchas gracias.
It's so beautiful. We have a lot of comments, but we have one about peace, because when you said Lyran principle of integration, here on Earth we used to say peace culture or peace progress or peace procedures, because of course we are so tired of these extremes were kind of traumatic. So we have like the education with peace for the school, like ambassador of peace through the schools. Peace. We have many groups with education and with peace. So if you want just to elaborate about the peace process in a short, very short,
Yes. So,
in
and
a
thank you so
summary,
much for asking.
peace procedures in the galaxy and on Earth, because this is a very important part of this shifting. So we can have this tolerance and this attitude of now we want something more from an above, from a higher consciousness.
Peace comes from understanding what, from a universal perspective, what peace is about. Peace starts within yourself. It's about healing the gaps within this division. So if your mind is divided against your heart, or you are feeling intuitively, in your practice, there's this willingness to open, but there's fear. That's what we call living in a divided house within yourself. If there's any form of division between your 3D personality that you're going to learn with trait, personality, like and dislike, habits, all of it, versus the true aspect of your higher self, your divine self, that sacred divine union must take place so that your heart, your mind, your solar plexus, the entirety of your being, your thought process, your verbal communication, your nonverbal communication, how you feel, how you manifest, how you live, become an integration. That's part of the integration part of the Lyrians we're talking about. And being of service to others is also honoring your boundaries, honoring yourself with your authenticity. Be who you are, even though your family members may be unable to understand consciously where you're coming from, or around you where you live, seen as a lack of support in that sense. Be the authentic, genuine self that you are, because you become a beacon of light. And remember that this beacon of light is frequency that you're anchoring just by your physical presence on the planet, influence those around you, your loved ones, your friends, your neighbors, your country, the city you live in, the grids of the land where you are within, right there, and it influence even beyond the earth plane. So return by living in harmony with yourself. Cultivate this inner state of harmony. Be at peace with who you are, because then you can speak peace. You can emanate peace. You can really be the benevolent being that you are. And again, with boundaries, with clarity, with discernment, with strength, and being able to be that way, it's going to open the field of conscious connections. And you want to communicate with an advanced, enlightened, intergalactic being, it's about your receptivity field. So if we feel as a part of you that wants to connect, but we feel a lot of fear in your etheric field, we're going to honor that and we'll say, we want to connect with you. We will do it in a different way, because right now we can tell that you're not quite in alignment to receive our presence or understand our consciousness, and we're going to respect that. So a real enlightened NT being will never force contact upon you. Will respect where you are, and we're simply going to connect when you dream, when you sleep at night, because this one is no more mental barrier or emotional barrier. Then we can come that way. But this is why we're here to help to bring that education, like the Galactic School that you bring, or this interview, or the partnership, and everything that we do as well on the Arcturian University, this online sanctuary, for this conscious universal education that brings us back to understand how can we live every day. You breathe this new reality. This is who you becoming. This is your nature. It's no longer just a concept, a mental concept. So I would say it this way for now. And of course, we can talk about more moving forward.
Sure. Sure. I want to mention this. You are the founder of the Actuarian University, so please join and check. If it is in English, we have translators on Google. You can make your way, I'm sure. And to close, I want to say hi to everybody. Everybody's like thanking you. Lyra, thank you. Marvelous sharing. And we have the protocol. When you talked about the protocol, that was beautiful. Caminante, really. We have a bunch of heart. And thank you. It's a pure thank you. Me conmueve means moved.
Right.
And, Mexico, please is here. Mexico presente. Please come back. Vuelve pronto.
De acuerdo. Sí.
Oh, thank you. And thank you so much. Thank you for the word about peace too. That's important for us, of course. And thank you to everybody being around you, above, below, and everywhere on all the
Yes.
levels of consciousness. Thank you.
Thank
Cecilia?
you.
Thank you very much for this wonderful experience, I would say, an exchange.
It's an experience indeed, and it was a needed and a perfect timing experience, and it will be the one in many, and we're very grateful. Merci beaucoup. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much. Arigato, for those who may be in Japan. That's the extent of my thank you, odanke in German. And we're moving into universal language, and it's a feel of gratitude or love for you. Thank you for being of service to yourself, to humanity, to all different species of life, including the animal kingdom, and of course for Gaia, as you are a guardian. So thank you for returning to the planet and bring your light.
Thank you. See you soon, everybody. Take care. Oh, and of course, I want to put the last one. She will say, stay in your light.
Stay in your light.
Thank you. See you.
Bye. Thank you.